Hello, beautiful beings of love and light. It is so nice to be here with you. Welcome. I'm Beth. I am a holistic intuition coach. And what I do is somatic spiritual trauma experiencing. So I'm your somatic spiritual personal trainer of sorts. And I wanted to just come on and give you a little bit of an introduction to classes that I hold weekly every Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I started teaching these two types of classes, Yoga Nidra and Restorative Yoga, because of my own personal need for them in my life. So I was always an overachiever, a workaholic. I used to work out about 3 times or 3 hours a night at the gym back when I lived in New York City for over 13 years. And even when I went into my yoga teacher training, I was still pushing myself so hard all the time, like as if the amount of time I spent on the mat was equivalent to how worthy I was as a person. And I got to a point in my physical asana journey where I was pushing myself so hard and never allowing myself enough rest. So, whether that was sleeping enough in the night, taking the steps that were necessary to ensure that I was able to get a good night's sleep, meaning going to bed at a decent time, which meant I had to not imbibe in different alcohols and drugs, to not keep myself up at a late hour. But there was this, like, always this tug of war between, well, I deserve to spend this time doing what makes me happy and what I really love because I spent 13 years in New York City working in corporate jobs where I feel like my time was stolen from me. So I was always in this, yeah, this tug of war that I'm trying to get my time back, but you can't create time, right? You can't destroy time, but you can spend it and have those real regrets about the way that you spent your time that maybe are now causing you to utilize your time to feel like you need to, get the most out of every minute. But the things that you're putting your time into are actually hurting you. They're not supporting the next iteration of your journey. So tonight is a really important night for that type of concept because we're shifting from this new moon that we had on Saturday, this, or sorry, on Sunday. So the moon was in Sagittarius Sunday and Monday. And it's this very powerful seeking energy, right? The Sagittarius sign is the archer, the centaur of the zodiac. And if you know anything about Sagittarians in your life, this energy is always looking for the next best thing. And so having a new moon is kind of a conflicting time for us all because new moons are a time of deep rest, right? The darkest the moon ever is, there's no light shining, and it helps us to see what we need to really go into in our own shadow, in our own dark or black moon energy. And so that seeking, the moon represents our emotional realm. So that seeking becomes this seeking into our deep emotional space. And we're not used to that, right? We're used to very outward, seeking things outside of ourselves to help to satiate this, what we call in recovery, this God-sized hole, or this, you could say, mother-sized hole, or this father-sized hole, this like hole in ourselves that we're trying to fill with something that we can't quite put our finger on. We're not really sure what it is because we haven't yet found our true purpose and what we are actually aiming all of that energy towards. So if I ask you, what is the thing that you want to focus all of your energy on? What's that end goal for you? If you do know, awesome, then you have a place to begin taking steps towards. And that's where the Capricorn energy comes in. And if you don't yet, don't worry about it, but please join me on this journey. Every Tuesday night, I take you through Either it alternates Tuesdays, either a restorative yoga class, which is what tonight is. And I base my classes on the astrology of the moon of the time because the moon rules over our water, the water of the earth. The tides are regulated by the moon, and so is the water within us, right? We are part of this earth. We are all part of the same collective energy of humanity. And so we are very affected by the shifting changes through the zodiac, right? Because that's what's in our sky, as above, so below. So we are down here on the earth plane experiencing what's happening the in the solar system with the different planets and the alignment of the zodiac are the astrological signs, the stars configuration. So we're having different planets position themselves in the different signs. And so I focus on the moon because it speaks to all of our emotions. And I feel that the emotional realm is something that we've vastly abandoned, we've neglected as a collective, right? As humans. Even when you think of health, right? What word comes to mind? Mental health. So we don't actually have a mental health crisis because our mind, our thinking brain, sorry, not our mind, our thinking brain, what got us into all this trouble is not the thing that's going to help us get out of that trouble. So we have to look at what we actually have is a crisis of emotional health. And I do the work that I do specifically so that we can generate more emotional awareness within ourselves and also have more compassion, empathy, or just sympathy for what everyone else is going through around us. And mainly that journey starts within you. So both of these classes I have created. I didn't create the style of restorative yoga. I didn't create Yoga Nidra, but my version of both are what I created in order to bring us to have a tangible thing you can put in your calendar and set a date to designate for this is the time that I'm going to rest. Yoga Nidra is equivalent to 3 hours of REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. It is deep rest in 60 minutes. Where on earth can you get 3 hours of sleep in 1 hour? Nowhere except Yoga Nidra. So that's one of the main reasons why I teach this practice because it's so incredibly beneficial, but it's also so incredibly needed in our world today. And then the other one is restorative yoga. So I teach restorative also based on the astrology of the moon. And restorative is lying in different postures that are lying on your back for the most part, either your back or your belly. And you get in little twisted up positions, and they're mostly deep stretches. But the purpose isn't to really like get there to get to a really big stretch. The intention of restorative is that you let yourself go. And I'm here to guide you through that time. So you don't have to set a timer. You don't have to, you know, do anything. I try to take all of the doing out so that you can actually literally just be. This is one of the biggest requests that my clients, my coaching clients always say. I have so much trouble just being because I don't have time. So I'm trying to give you back some time into your life with the Nidra. And then with the restorative, it's actually dedicated, committed time for you to sit with yourself and to expand the muscles in the body, to let the body really sink in, to work out some kinks or some really tender points, or perhaps calcified, areas of the body where you maybe have an injury and you haven't moved it, you haven't gotten it massaged because, who's got the time for that? I can't take care of myself. I got bills to pay. I understand. Um, so it's time for you to really let the body really stretch and release, and then come into a state of more mind awareness, not thinking brain, not the, oh, let's figure this thing out, but I provide you with the archetypal themes of the astrology so that you can really understand and let it come to you. This is an opening of what we call Vijnana Maya Kosha in yoga, or the psychic centers, your psychic energy body. You actually have an energetic body within you. You have many bodies. You have the physical body, you have the mind, you have the breath, you have the psychic energy, and you also have your bliss body. Doesn't it just sound so nice? Bliss body, right? Ananda Maya Kosha, bliss body. So beautiful. So we're trying to access that ultimately, right? Just like any significant change that you wish to make in your life, nothing's going to happen today. Nothing's going to happen tomorrow. But if you continue practicing slowly over time, we're going to open up more aspects of the mind, aspects of the physical body, aspects of the breath that you may not have been able to access before. You just might not have any relationship with them because I got to go, I got to do, I got to get this done, I got to feed the kids, I got to go to bed. Da, da, da. I got to get the project finished. I got to get the car, the oil changed, everything. And it tends to really bog us down way, way heavy on our hearts and make us feel extremely overwhelmed. So this is exceptionally great for people who are Pitta dosha. You can book a session with me if you would like to learn what your specific Ayurvedic dosha is. But really everyone in the West has really high Pitta energy. It's just how we operate, right? We're not meditators. That's the East, right? So I try to bring that element of the East because I've spent about 6 years in Asia, and try to bring some of that energy of just being, of not having to perform or meet a deadline or, you know, achieve a goal, but bring some of that awareness to how we can just be, but we have to give ourselves this time and the space to be able to do that. And I'm trying to give that to you with these classes, so I would love to have you join me. So I'll demonstrate what the positions of each of the classes are in just a moment. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background again on this transition from the Sagittarius new moon energy. And maybe you set your intentions around the new moon. Maybe you forgot. Maybe you have no idea that there was a new moon or when it was or what sign it's in. Please email me, reach out to me, or comment below this. Send me your email and I can email you. I make this beautiful, actually, my assistant. I actually have an assistant. He's so wonderful, Matt. He makes this moon chart for me, which is every day of the month. So we just started December, so you can get what sign the moon is in every day of the month. And I teach a moon wisdom class that's also virtual that you can take, that teaches you how to start to track your emotions and what's going on in your life around the moon. I also have a birth chart reading where you get a full printout of everything on your birth chart and the key points, right? Key positions and key planets that really impact your day to day. So you can start to become more aware of all of this and start to inform yourself, start to reflect on, oh, the moon was in this sign and this is how I felt that day and this is what was going on. These things can be revealed through not only the planets you have in those signs, but also the houses that they sit in your birth chart. So it's a really fascinating practice, and I've been doing this for the past 5 years. My own self-study has brought me here, and I have a Cancer moon, so I'm very connected to the moon because the moon is at home in Cancer. And so I love to share these practices. So I would love it to have you join me for, every Tuesday night, or maybe you do it for a month, or maybe just try it one time. But tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be doing a restorative, astrology of the moon restorative, based on this shift from that seeking Sagittarius energy into this very practical Capricorn energy. Now, this month, the astrology is really, really special because we actually have two new moons. And we have one full moon right in the middle. So it's kind of rare. Typically in a month, we have a full moon and a new moon. But in December 2024, we just had our first new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st, right? So it's really powerful. And then we have a Gemini full moon in the middle of the month. And then at the end of the month, we have a Capricorn, right? Just the same sign that the moon is shifting into tonight. We have a Capricorn new moon. So it's just like this really special opportunity for us to tap into this transition, because not only is it happening tonight from the new moon into Tuesday night, the night's class will be about this shift, but it's also happening from the beginning. We start the month with the new moon in Sagittarius and we end the month with the new moon in Capricorn. So it's this beautiful like bookending of the month. So I wanted to come on and just give you that invitation to assess where you are in your emotions. It's also the last month of the year, so it's like a culmination of a lot of what the energy is that you've put into this year emotionally, and we're going to really honor that. And what the Capricorn energy brings to us is this, it's the sea goat, right? It rises out of the sea, like all beings, right? We rose from the sea. We were created. The sea has this perfect building blocks of amino acids. And when the sun shines on those specific ones, it creates little molecules and zygotes, and animals start walking out of the sea. This is how life begins. And so it's this beautiful representation of us taking those first steps into places that might not be familiar at all. The cool thing about the Capricorn sea goat, right? Also, goat, greatest of all time. It's your time to be that greatest of all time, because you have this energy coming in with the Capricorn and then it's going out with Capricorn, and it's newness. It's the new moon both times. Um, so we have the sea goat, right? The sea goat has hooves, two hooves, and also a tail. So the sea goat's job or purpose is climbing up to the pinnacle of the mountain over the course of its whole life. So it's taking very slow, methodical, practical, secure steps. So it's this energy of achieving, but in a very cautious and pragmatic way. And also, not rushing is really important. So it is almost this sign of deep rest, introspection, observance. The sea goat Capricorn cannot just take a step onto any old place as it's climbing up the mountain. It has to make sure that there's no like scrag or anything. It has to take a very precise step because it doesn't have hind hooves to catch itself and fall back on. It has a tail. So it risks sliding all the way back down and going back into the sea. So Capricorn typically doesn't look back because that's not where they're going. That's where they've been. Capricorn is taking the next step and making sure that that step, that we have everything, is there. So the beauty of this time right now is also that we have Mercury in retrograde. So it's kind of like Mercury represents our communication, right? This air sign. And so we're taking a step back, and it's kind of like this hold your tongue energy of like, we don't need to communicate right now. What we need to do is go within with the new moon. So we're just kind of peeking out, right? The moon is starting to crest. So there's a little bit of light shining. The Capricorn energy is going to use that little bit of light to its advantage, right? It's very pragmatic. It's going to see, okay, now it's out of the complete darkness where we were searching in our inner worlds. And now I'm going to take that next little step onto a clear, solid place. And I'm just going to take the next. I'm not thinking about the top of the mountain and what's it going to be like and am I going to have to crack climb, but I have hooves, so I can't do that. And, how am I going to? No, it's just what is the next step in front of me and how do I place my footing so that it's sturdy and it's sustainable and it's consistent and it's reliable, that I know that I made the right one. So this is a beautiful time to get really clear with yourself on your next step, to not push yourself too much and too far beyond what you feel like you need to achieve in the long term. you can have that goal, right? You can see the top of the mountain from where you are, even from the base of the mountain. And when you're still in the sea, you can see it. But you're not going to, you're not going to get there today or tomorrow or even the next day or in this month, right? You know that you have time and you need to choose that time very wisely. So it's a very, very practical earth sign of next step. Let's get it solid and then let's take the next one. But I'm not thinking about that now. I'm not worried about it. I'm just focusing, right? Not worrying, but I'm focusing on this very step right now. So where does that fall in your life, right? What themes come up for you? In what areas of your life does this really go, oh, I need to do that in this spot? And you can find that in the house that your Capricorn energy is, and also see, where your moon is for the new moons. That can play a big part as well. And then also, what do you have in the Capricorn sign? So these two things can kind of direct where this energy is most needed. And again, you can book a private reading with me. It's a 1 hour reading, but you get a full PDF. It's this beautiful printout that I designed and I'm really proud of that tells you all about the really key standout points in your chart that you can use to go forward with. So I really hope that you enjoy this season, this time, and I would love to see you for my class tonight or a class in an upcoming Tuesday. If it's too soon for you, I understand. The classes are each $20. And now I want to tell you a bit about what the Yoga Nidra and the Restorative Yoga are like. So what you need for class. So when you come to class, you will need for restorative, since that's the one I'm doing tonight, the restorative yoga, restorative yoga, astrology of the moon, you will often need pillows. So notice I don't have anything here. I just have my mat. Um, you can do these classes from your bed. It's really, really nice if you do them in your bed, or if you happen to be on a beach, do them in the sand, someplace that's really, really cozy for you. And if you can't be in your bed, it's totally fine. Just try to get like a nice soft cushiony mat, like a thick one. And if you don't even have a mat, just lay down on some blankets or something. We don't really need a mat. We're not doing any like asana practices. So these are some of the postures that are kind of what you will be getting into, just to give you a demonstration. And also we'll be doing breath work or pranayama. So you'll always be guided through a different type of pranayama. This is also one of those bodies, like I was telling you before, the sheaths of your being. So your pranamaya kosha is your breath work body. So it is how you shift energy or prana, the energetics of your being. So I always recommend bringing a lot of pillows, loads of pillows, all the pillows that you can get. I know I only have one here, but that's all I got. And that's a good thing, to point out. Don't worry if you don't have a ton of them, but the more that you can bring, the better to support you. Even if it's couch cushions, I spent years of my practice using couch cushions because I didn't have really thick, fluffy pillows. The other thing that you could use in place of pillows, if you are a yogi, if you happen to have these things, or if you happen to live in a place where you have blocks, pillows, yada yada, or I meant blocks or yoga bolsters and things are soft blocks, right? I'm not ever going to teach in these particular classes anything that you need the hard cork or sturdy blocks for. I just like the foamy ones because they're just a bit softer. So if you have some blocks, it can always be nice to give yourself a bit more height. I'm always sitting on top of a block, so I always like to give myself a little bit of height. And then a pillow or block is really good. So here's an example of a posture that we would come into. This happens to be one of my very favorite positions. So you take the pillow on one side of your body, you lie down very gently, and you bring your opposite knee, opposite to the side that the pillow is on, to your chest, and just give it a hug, rock it around. And then you take that same hand on the side of the pillow and place it on the outside of that knee, bent knee. And then on your exhale, you cross that leg over your body. It's called a supine spinal twist. So you're actually bringing some twist to the ribs and below. So this is your Manipura chakra and your sacral chakra or Swadhisthana. You can open that opposite arm out to the side, so opposite of the pillow side. That arm can come across and kind of reach out. You can spread your fingers wide. You can let the back of your shoulder, both shoulders, if they're touching, that can feel really nice to kind of accentuate the stretch. And you can also take this hand that's closest to the bent knee and massage the outside of that thigh. You can massage around the knee. You can extend the leg if you'd like and let it hover. So it can be nice here to either have a pillow or to fold up the pillow. Oftentimes our knee doesn't even get to that point. Or you can also take one of your blocks, put that on top or below the pillow. I didn't mean to say on top, sorry. And just give that a little bit more height. So it's still soft with the pillow, but it's held up a little bit higher. Or you can just use the block on its highest height if you don't have a pillow and you just have a block. So this is just one example. And then we would stay in this position for 5 minutes as I talk you through some of the archetypal themes of the moon of the day. And then I'll gently guide you to switch sides or move into another posture. And then we'll do the other side in a sequence. Everything will be done really, really slowly. Another nice way to come up is just to curl yourself up in a little bit of a ball and then use your hands to press yourself back up to a seated position. So we don't really move fast. It's not your typical yoga where you're doing no sun salutations. We don't even do moon salutations. They're just mostly lying down on your back or on your belly or in some sideways position, maybe some seated, right? We do breath work seated or lying down. And then I guide you into a Shavasana at the end, and then you rise and you're free to reflect with me, send me a message, get some more answers, or book a private call to talk more about it. Now, I mentioned Shavasana, that's the position that the Yoga Nidra is in. So when you come to a Yoga Nidra class, which is every other Tuesday, you will also, you can be in your bed. It can be really, really nice to be in your bed because it's late at night if you're on the East Coast. And after class, you can just fall asleep if that's available to you, right? So you lie down. So those of you who aren't familiar with the position of Shavasana, this is what it is. And I won't demonstrate it in the Yoga Nidra class because I'll just be sitting at a desk because you just lie there the whole time. I'm not doing anything. You don't need to move your body at all. So I don't demonstrate it. So I won't be here in this background. I will be online at a table and I'll just guide you through everything. But just so you get the visual of what it looks like, you slowly lower your torso down, separate your feet so that your legs are out to the sides, a little bit wider than hips width distance, and that your toes fall out to the sides. And then let yourself down easy. So use your hands to kind of lower down. The only reason I have this pillow back here is because my pillow is a little bit flat. It's not super fluffy. So if you have a super fluffy pillow that kind of like props your head up, don't use that pillow. That's the one thing about lying in Shavasana. We would rather you have no prop, right? So that your shoulders can be on the same plane as the back of your head, as the back of your heels, and you can lie in this kind of like a star position, right? Except your arms aren't out to the side, so not really like a star. But your arms are down by your sides. Your hands are a little bit away from your hips, right? So not really close and not all the way out. This is because it's the most easeful. It's the least amount of kinetic energy possible in the body because we don't want the body to move throughout the whole class. So maybe your legs, and you'll start to learn what your shavasana looks like every time you do the practice, because certain things will get kind of sore and start to hurt. So they'll pull you out of your practice. They'll just distract you. So that's why we want to pay attention every time to how we're setting ourselves up, that the next time we can set ourselves up that way or make little adjustments to how we can be more comfortable. So this is why I use the pillow. If you are going to lay on a pillow or a flat one, have it be underneath of your shoulders and the back of your head so that the whole torso is again on a similar plane. And then tuck either the back of the pillow edge. This pillow is a little bit thick even for this. So you might want to add a little bit of tuck underneath of the curvature of your neck so that you can be completely restful and at ease throughout the practice, and you're relatively on one plane. If this is too much, right, too hard to kind of finagle, like this pillow is way too big for this particular type of practice, what I would do in that case, I don't have one with me, but I would roll up a towel, like a hand towel, and place that roll underneath the back of my neck so that I just have that space under the back of my neck filled in and I can support my head. You can also take the loose end of that towel roll, if you can kind of imagine it, and extend it out so it's under the back of your head if you're not on your bed. So if it's not soft, because the back of the head might experience a little bit of pressure and it might be too much over the entire practice. But you'll learn as you go and as you take the class. So you can just fill in that space behind the neck. You can touch it now and see like how much space is back there. Right, for me, it's just like about an inch. So just roll up the towel so that it's only an inch thick and then place it there so that your neck can rest, right? This helps to support the pranic energy flow and allows you to breathe more freely so that you're breathing through all of your chakra system from the base of your spine, Mula Bandha, Muladhara chakra, all the way up to the crown or Sahasrara, and even the top back of the head, you have a chakra called Bindu there. So you just lie here. That's all Yoga Nidra is just lying in Shavasana, not moving, not falling asleep, ironically. I will guide you through not falling asleep. And again, when you come out of it, I will guide you, but it's always really nice for the body to roll to one side, to press yourself up gently with your hands and come back to a comfortable seat, if at all possible, keeping your eyes open. I mean, closed. Open. So those are the two types of yoga that I teach alternating weeks. So tonight's practice will be restorative. Next week will be yoga nidra. I really hope you'll join me. It's a beautiful experience. Students in the past always say, that was really amazing. That's exactly how I was feeling. How did you speak to my mind and my heart so well? And it's just the astrology, right? It's not, I mean, I channel a bit, but it's really just what the astrology speaks to because it's universal, right? We all feel this way at these times, and that's why it's such a beautiful connective community experience. So I'd really love for you to join us, and I thank you so much for being here. I hope you learned a little bit about the Sagittarius energy and the Capricorn energy. We've got that Gemini energy coming up in the full moon in the middle of the month. So please email me if you would like, or put your email in something in the chat or whatever. If you would like to receive the full month, all of the signs that the moon is in on each day. It's a really beautiful thing, again, that Matt's made for me. And I'd love for you to have it. That sending me your email signs you up for my email list. I don't send that many emails, but once in a while, I'm trying to get better at it. I'm just really unorganized. So I'm going to use this Capricorn energy to try to help me take that next step and start sending them more regularly. But really, they are about trying to help you to get more connected to your own definition of your spirit, spirituality, what that means for you, and your own connection to the divine, to something greater than yourself, to a higher power that you can rely on and trust, that loves you, that has always loved you. You are love. You came from love. You will return to love when you leave this earth plane. And I love you so, so much. So thank you so much for being here. And I hope to see you soon on Zoom in this very space. Take care, beautifuls. Bye. Mwah. Mm.